Hello everyone, I am BowserJrXD. Welcome to the Rockingham ARCA 125 at Rockingham Speedway. Race 2 of 8 for the ARCA Menard Series East in 2025. Alrighty. So, it's the second of the 8 races. The only one, well, I thought it would be the longest. I think Dover is actually the longest track. Now the track was measured at .94. But it's a special event. It's another support race for the Xfinity Series to start at 4 o'clock. And 26 cars in the field, just short of the 28 that entered because 2 did not and also make it to the race. One is the 63 of Spencer Davis for Spraker Racing Enterprises. I don't know if the car even showed up. Another one is the 93 of London McKenzie, who was running the full year, but wrecked hard in practice and had to withdraw because these low-budget teams just don't have they don't have the funds. Anyway, we're getting ready to go green, so I'm also waiting for the race center to actually kick into gear with the standings. So I'll quickly go over the starting lineup then. Starting 26, driving the number 39, Performance Cleaners Toyota for Costner Weaver Motorsports. 32 years old from Dallas, North Carolina, Caleb Costner. Starting 25th, driving the number 06, Peterson Motorsports Toyota for Wayne Peterson Racing. 27 years old from Lafayette, Ohio, Nate Muller. Starting 24th, driving the number 00, Vaughn Wilcox and Vaughn Racing Toyota for Vaughn Wilcox and Vaughn Racing. 46 years old from Rockledge, Florida, Corey Aiken. Starting 23rd, driving the number 48, Gary Speed Shop Ford for Brad Smith for Motorsports. 56 years old from Shelby Township, Michigan, Brad Smith. Starting 22nd, driving the number 86, I'll screw the sponsors, number 86 Ford for Club Racing Inc., A.J. Moyer. 21st, number 31, Rise Motorsports Toyota for Rise Motorsports, Tim Goulet. Starting 20th, the number 01, Creed and Gamer Roofing, Pearson's Truck Service Ford for Fast Track Racing, Tim Monroe. 19th, the number 34, Safford Trading Company for Vaux, Wilcox, and Vaughn Racing, Austin Vaughn. 18th, the number 12, Macnica Yit Aikido, CKB, Fast Track Racing Toyota for Fast Track Racing, Takuma Koga. 17th, the number 9, Pudding Dragon, Lazarus Enterprises, Dyer Marine Toyota for Fast Track Racing, Blaine Donahue. 16th, the number 11, Scouting America, Fast Track Racing Toyota for Fast Track Racing, Zachary Tinkle. 15th, the number 40, Wind Supply Chevrolet for Andrew Patterson Racing, Andrew Patterson. 14th, number 56, Hill Motorsports Toyota for Hill Motorsports, Timmy Hill. 13th, number 24, Allegiant S Sigma Performance Services Chevrolet for Sigma Performance Services, Spencer Gallagher. 12th, number 73, Class Motorsports Toyota for Class Motorsports, Andy Jankowiak. 11th, number 79, All Construction Carter Caterpillar Chevrolet for All Construction Racing Motorsports, Isaac Kitzmiller. 10th, number 10, Max Siegel Inc. Chevrolet for Fast Track Racing, Eloy Sebastian. 9th, number 76, Cyclone Next Gen Travel Centers Ford for AM Racing, Cole Raz. 8th, the number 6, Chevrolet Max Siegel Inc. Chevrolet for Rev Racing, LeVar Scott. 7th, the number 25, Cy4 Toyota for Venerini Motorsports, who's closing down at the end of the year, Patrick Staropoli. 6th, the number 20, Phoenix Toyota for Venerini Motorsports, Jake Finch. 5th, the number 2, Max Siegel Inc. Chevrolet for Rev Racing, Laney Bice. 4th, the number 28, Overplay Game Chevrolet for Pinnacle Racing Group, Austin Green. 3rd, the number 23, Sigma Performance Services, Vegas Fastener Manufacturing Chevrolet for Sigma Performance Services, Tyler Reif. 2nd, the number 18, Starkey Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, William Sawalich. Pole, the number 81, Mobile One Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, Brent Cruz. There we go. Well, kind of.
Caleb Costner scheduled to start the 39 car. I do believe that this is going to be London McKenzie, perhaps.
Oh, London McKenzie. Okay. So London McKenzie will hop into 39 instead because he's the guy running the full schedule. We have one to go.
Next time by, we will go racing for 125 laps. Denise Engel up in the flag stand, the only full-time female starter for a nationally touring stock car series. Good to have Denise here with us. And of course, Mark Honkamp in the pace truck, leading the field down the backstretch. Well, you got to wonder what the nerves are like there in those two cars on the front row.
I'm excited.
Drivers, Brent Cruz and
125 laps around the fabled 0.94 mile D-shaped oval
alongside Austin Green
in central North Carolina. Well, central South North Carolina, South Central North Carolina, to be more precise. Richmond County, not Rockingham County, funnily enough. All right, pace trucks rolling off. The Joe Gibbs duo ready to lead the field to green. Here we go. We're green at Rockingham.
Green flag up, and we are racing at Rockingham Speedway.
Brent Cruz with the early lead in the number 81 Toyota. Tyler Reif to the inside of Sawalich.
Tyler Reif trying to make it a battle for second down the backstretch and into three. Sawalich going to hold them off.
Sawalich right now. Joe Gibbs 1-2.
Things get a little bit tight there. That was one of the Rev Racing cars moving up wide. As Cruz is going to lead lap number 1. He's got about a 4-car length advantage over his
Battle for fifth right there. I think that's Jake Finch on the number 28 of Austin Green.
Cruz was about 0.2 of a second quicker than everybody throughout the course of practice the last couple of days as we see the first battle for position.
There's Lonnie Bice behind in 6th.
He's going to get sideways.
Oh, we got a wreck! Jake Finch and LeVar Scott.
LeVar Scott also involved.
Oh, Zachary.
Caution going to be out for the first time today.
Zachary Tinkle did a masterful job avoiding the
Damn.
Jake Finch.
One of the Venerini cars was damaged to the rear, and LeVar Scott, I don't know if he got the damage, but he was going to lose a lot of possession there.
And the ARCA Series Talladega winner from 2024 in one of his few starts on the east side has shortened up the back end of that race car.
Let's see if we can take a look at what happened there, Eric, going off into turn 3 to the inside of Austin Green. He's going to drive.
He got loose. That's it. He got loose.
Rear end just jumped out into the outside wall, and LeVar Scott.
Where's Tinkle come into this?
Come out of this.
Woo!
It's going to have some damage to that car, Eric, but I don't think it's going to be anywhere near as bad as it could have been. One more look from inside turn 3. Keep an eye on that 20 car as he dives off into 3.
That car got free as soon as he tried to cut.
Oh, it looks like so. LeVar Scott might have hit the wall, hit the outside wall. That's the treachery of Rockingham, even on a repaved surface. We've already lost one of the starters.
He's still running out on the racetrack in a top 10 spot, but I'm not sure
Hold
that
on a
Jake Finch
minute.
is going to be able to return to competition after he's been off to a great start to 2025, winning several races that he's been competing in full-bodied stock cars. Had high hopes coming into this race. He only made it a few laps in before trouble.
Boy, and LeVar Scott, you saw him just try to get to the outside, and that car did make some contact with the outside wall. I
hope that the leaderboard gets back working again.
Are rubbing in on those tires at all, and if they are, they certainly could probably be pulled out. But there you see Jake Finch, and I think he is about to climb out of that car. An early end to the day for the driver who dominated that race at Talladega Super Speedway in 2024. Led every lap. How often do you see that at a plate race?
The good news for Jake is the opportunity to maybe shake this off is a week away. He's entered into the race again at Talladega on the national side, also going to run Michigan, Dover, and Bristol as far as his ARCA Series slate with Venerini Motorsports, and just came off of what was a win of the Baby Rattler and for the second year in a row in a pro late model. And
There's Finch out of the car.
Out of Dodge is only a few laps in before Jake Finch finds the wall in turn 3 and puts us under the caution for the first time in this race.
So there is Jake in the Gator right there. He will have to take the ride down to the infield care center, but obviously out of the car under his own power. Tough way to end the day for that young man of Lynn Haven, Florida.
Lynn Haven, that's in the Pensacola area, if I recall.
The care center, probably not a bad idea with someone else driving there, but there are the two drivers up front. Brent Cruz in the 81, William Sawalich in the 18, and I kept a close eye on Brent Cruz throughout the practice sessions yesterday, even earlier today. He has been able to keep that car on the white line on both ends of the racetrack, not just on a mock qualifying run, but even 10, 12,
Okay, there we
15
go.
laps into a run. That car has been handling extremely well. I think William Sawalich is going to have to do everything he can do to at least keep him in sight here once we get back green flag racing.
And on that initial start, I mean, Cruz was able to open up a healthy advantage. That was going to be the first time he would be in and around traffic pretty much over the course of the last 2 days. He got straight out of Dodge at the start of that race and had about a 4-car length lead when the first lap was concluded. Sawalich and company, though, we're going to get a chance here to re-rack the field as they come to the 1-to-go signal this time. And Charlie, just as we started this race, Cruz is going to elect the bottom, Sawalich the top side.
Want to update the fans at home. Again, a little bit different for the ARCA Menard Series platform than you would see in a NASCAR National Touring Series race. Only the pole sitter, or the leader, gets to elect the lane choice on these restarts. So Brent Cruz electing the bottom side, everybody else kind of falling in line.
Come on.
Odd to the inside, even to the outside. So Brent Cruz to the inside, William Sawalich to the outside. Tyler Reif and
Which is 11, the leaderboard goes all screwy.
Starting alongside each other back there in the second row. So we'll see if Brent Cruz can kind of replicate that initial launch he had on the start and jump out in front. Maybe, hopefully, start to get some green flag laps under our belt here. So the field behind the pace truck in turns 3 and 4 coming to green. Coming to complete lap 6 of 125, the scheduled distance. Pace truck down onto pit road. Coming to the restart line.
Here we go again. Green. Not a good start for Lonnie Bice back in 5th. Looking a little stacked up, but she's holding on to 6th place. So Wallace on the high side, trying to challenge Brent Cruz on the inside. Who's on the inside?
Center of the corner, get the surge off, but Sawalich fights back up top. We're going to stay side by side in 3 for the lead.
William Sawalich trying to use that momentum, but right now
Brent Cruz gets back around for the lead.
Back out front, Cruz to the lead. Here at start finish.
All right, we finally have a running order, and it's the leaderboard's broken. Go figure. Timmy Hill is broken into the top 10. I think he's up to 6th. Okay, he's back in 8th actually now. Okay. 7th is Andy Jankowiak up to 7th now. We're going a little back in the pack. We got I see Kitzmiller, Tinkle, Patterson, and LeVar Scott who's trying to work his way back to the field.
Jumping back up to the front of the field, there is Brent Cruz.
There's Andrew Patterson on the inside of Zachary Tinkle. That's the battle for 12th place. Or, no, 13th place. Patterson gets it, and Tinkle falls back to 15th.
They have indeed pulled those fenders off of the right side. And LeVar Scott going to try to work his way back through the field, currently sitting in 14th position.
Back up to Cruz, whose lead continues to grow off turn number 4. Going to come up on the back of Tim Goulet as they approach.
Coming to lap traffic, of course.
But Cruz appears to be on cruise control at this point of the race.
What are you doing? The 31 drifts down in front of the leader. That was a stupid move.
To get out of the way, he wanted to get as low as he could, but he didn't realize the 81 had that much momentum. But Brent Cruz with a good heads-up move put the car down on the flat of the race.
Might have helped Sawalich catch up a lot.
Sweet move of the race right there.
31 is, oh my God, no sponsorship. Like not even the Max Buchanan Foundation. Oh my God.
3 p.m. to see who picks up today's Reese's sweet move of the race. And right now, the 31 car, Tim Goulet, struggling to find the handle.
I mean, it's really dangerous, in my opinion, when you have back markers this low on a track that is 1.5 grooves. Well, I digress. Oh, Corey Aiken is blowing up in the 0-0. Oh, that's the Vaughn Wilcox Vaughn car. One of them, at least. The other one's a 34. There's gonna be. There should be a caution for fluid, man.
That tends to tell me that might be a valve train problem in the engine of the 0-0 car for this young man. Is the black flag from?
Okay, the 0-0 got black flagged.
Take that car down to pit road as the leaders start to work their way through some of this heavy lap traffic. Aiken off the pace, and he's going to come to the backstretch pit road where the ARCA Menard Series East teams are pitting here at Rockingham Speedway. way. There is Brent Cruz continuing to set sail. And
There's
there
Takuma
is
Koga.
Eloy Falcon in the 10 car, way to the bottom side of the racetrack, working his way past.
He's also got
Koga in
lapped.
the 12.
Falcon in that 10 car. That's
Let me look at the
effort
ARCA Race
between
Center,
Brent Racing
see who.
and Andy Hillenberg's
Well,
Fenster
London.
team
So
is having a great performance so far here today, as a lot of these front-running cars have been having to bob and weave their way through some of the tail end of the lead lap cars, or cars that have just now
27.
fallen off the lead
Okay,
lap.
didn't start.
Cruz has pretty much
So
been
then the
hammering
20
down
car
since the start of
was
this race.
would probably count as last place. Blaine Donahue is 4 laps down. Nate Muller is 2 down. Brad Smith is 2 down. Tim Goulet is 2 down. AJ Moyer's a lap down. Austin Vaughn's a lap down. Takuma Koga's a lap down. 16 cars on the lead lap. Here's the battle for third there between Tyler Reif and Austin Green.
As you said, the car that Brendan Queen has been in a couple of times this year to start the season, but that's also the team that Connor Zilic was dominant in 2024.
That thing is so. That car is gonna be so dangerous. It looks like Eloy Sebastian is up to 5th place.
The entrance to the backstretch pits that time through. Also, Brad Smith was off the pace on the front straightaway. He should make it back to the pits as the race stays green. Race leaders still clear out in front. Best battle that may be shaping up is for that 3rd spot. Between that of Tyler Reif and Austin Green, as they're separated by about a car length or so, with Cruz still in full command of this race.
Brad Smith makes it to pit road.
That machine down onto pit road. Brad, of course, one of the longtime independent owner drivers. His career in the ARCA platform dates all the way back to 1988, and this is how long Brad's been in the scene. I'm an old guy too. I'm one of these gray beard veterans too. But the car that Brad Smith started,
It looks like Caleb Costner and Corey Aiken are also maybe off the track. So 39 and a 00.
Racing history book as we see this battle for 3rd and 4th continue to heat up. Here comes Austin Green in the 28.
They talk about history and lineage here. Of course, the Green name, Austin Green, the son of 1994 NASCAR Xfinity Series
So there are, I think,
champion.
7. I think we're actually might be down to only 16, 13, 14 cars on the lead lap. Austin Vaughn, Tim Monroe, and Zachary Tinkle listed as a lap down.
Austin trying to do that for himself in this ARCA Menards East event. He's had a very fast car, was the fastest car in the optional practice yesterday, and he is hounding the backside of the Sigma Performance 23 of Reif down the backstretch.
Tyler Reif, of course, picking up a couple of West wins, driving for Todd and Kelly Souza in 2024. That actually helped propel that team to the Owners' Championship out west. Has made the leap into the Sigma Performance Services team, owner Joe Ferre. And I'll tell you what, I know you were on the call for this race out west at Phoenix. I thought Tyler Reif on that second to last restart had the momentum that could have sent him to victory lane. It just didn't quite work out that way.
I agree. Unfortunately for him, it had resulted in some pretty significant damage.
Oh my God, lap cars. Here comes Green. He moves to the inside. Damn. Yeah, they're coming in on the 2nd place car. And Austin Green up to 3rd.
Austin Green going to take over the 3rd position. And ooh, that was a close call right there with Zachary off at turn 2.
Interesting story about Zachary Tinkle and the look of that orange and blue car. That was a contest-winning design by a 5-year-old Cub Scout that was pitched across the organization. In fact, that Cub Scout, James B., invited to the racetrack here, his design being chosen. Zachary giving it a good ride as we check in on our race leader, Brent Cruz, who, aside from having to slice and dice his way through some cars at the tail end of the field, smooth sailing for the ARCA Menards Series Phoenix winner, looking for his first win in the East Series.
You know, something I noticed when we were watching that battle for 3rd and 4th, those two cars, the 28 and the 23, about a half a groove up off of that white line on both ends of the race.
Battle for 6th still going on between Laney Bice and Andy Jankowiak.
To the white line on both ends.
The one, the young gun from Locust Grove, Georgia, in Henry County. And the other, Andy Jankowiak, the older independent from Tonawanda, New York, in Erie County. Or it might be Niagara. But here, ooh, both cars loose coming off of 4. They're side by side as they come to the line. But Laney Bice gets back ahead. But not for long. Jankowiak gets a nose ahead, coming off of 2, and he'll take 6th place.
Andy J showing that to be the case. He's working to the inside of Laney Bice down the backstretch. He'll take over that 6th position.
And he is hustling that car off the corner. And you're right, Charlie, that car doesn't look no worse for the wear after what they had to do to get it back in race shape. As he gets around Bice for the spot, Patrick Staropoli starting to close up there as well. As we check in on Cole Raz, and talk about drivers who have a very diverse.
There's battle for 10th. Cole Raz and Isaac Kitzmiller.
2025 across the ARCA platform, out west at Tucson Speedway. His worst finish in all of those races, 6th. This kid's been on a roll this year.
Here's Patrick Staropoli. He is closed in on the number 2 of Laney Bice. This now the battle for 7th as we see the battle for 2nd starting to heat up here, Eric. Here comes Austin Green in the 28 car. He is closed in on the 18 of William Sawalich as we head off into turns 1 and 2.
Working their way around the outside of Blaine Donahue.
Blaine Donahue was number 9. That's the same font that William Byron had with Trial Bus Motorsports in 2016.
As Sawalich holds down that runner-up spot ahead of Austin Green in what was a kind of late announced venture to pair up with this Pinnacle Racing Group team that's been quite busy, that PRG bunch. They have a full-time entry in the ARCA Menard Series, of course. They ran at Five Flags Speedway with Connor Mozak, had a great run there. Tagged Austin Green for the opportunity here, and Austin's trying to make the most of it. He's on the back bumper of this JGR18 car, going into 3 for 2nd.
And of course, these two teams battled it out all season long for the ARCA Menard Series East Championship last year. Of course, William coming out on top after Connor Zilich involved in an early race accident with another car at Bristol Motor Speedway. But these two teams have gone head-to-head numerous times, and I remember them having maybe a little meeting of the minds at Dover last year where maybe not the meeting of the minds that they wanted to, but
ooh, I think the 20's going to have a great run. Oh, man, it's looking close. But the Austin Green has the speed.
Respectfully here, still in the early going of the Rockingham ARCA 125.
We've heard several drivers say that with the uptick in pace at this racetrack, it can be a little bit difficult to pass early in the going. And we're seeing that play out right here. I'm sure Austin may be hoping for either a slight bobble by Sawalich or maybe the help of some traffic to break the stride of that 18 car, to open the door for him to walk through it. Just hasn't quite happened yet as he starts to fall back off the bumper, Sawalich. But this battle continues on.
You know, we haven't checked in with the leader, Brent Cruz, for a minute. It's because he's 5.3 seconds out in front of this battle for 2nd position. But right now, Austin Green still trying to keep William Sawalich in his sights. And that 28 car, I think, as we go longer in this run, that 28 car continues.
Here's the battle for 7th. It's shaping up. Laney Bice, Patrick Staropoli, Timmy Hill. And is that Isaac Kitzmiller in 10th, too?
Timmy Hill. Timmy made his 499th National Series start yesterday in the Truck Series race here. And one of those starts back here at Rockingham Speedway. He's the only guy who's ever raced here before.
Yeah, with this track race the way it is, he probably took whatever notebook he had on this place and threw it right out the window on his way to the racetrack. As
all right, LeVar Scott and Andrew Patterson are a lap down. 12 cars remain on the lead lap.
Busy race schedule. Staropoli and that Cy Fovri, Venturini Motorsports.
Cy Fovri. Okay, that's how you pronounce it. Okay.
Also going to run with the Cook Racing Technologies team this season. Got to start coming up there at Kansas. Patrick has been able to get back behind the wheel of a race car after focusing on his academic and professional career, and he brings a lot of jubilance at the racetrack. He is so happy to be back at the Speedway.
And you look at the difference between these two race cars. The two car looking a little unsettled through the center of the corner right there as Staropoli continues to try to race on the back bumper of Laney Bice. Here's another good battle. The battle
6-second gap now
for 2nd position as they look to work their way past.
Trying to get by LeVar Scott.
Evidently, the damage to LeVar's car not able
big.
to,
28's closing again.
He's already gone a lap down to our leader, and now 2nd and 3rd about to work their way past LeVar Scott as well.
See Green here trying to cut down midway through the corner.
Gonna get side by side here at the line. Oh, couldn't keep it. Sawalich running middle, Green running low. Here comes Austin Green to the inside. He takes 2nd place, but can he catch up to Brent Cruz? Especially without a caution. All right, Cole Raz is now a lap down. There are 10 cars on the lead lap.
said, you know, what I expect is a lot of these drivers, these cars all run in the same speed. These cars and trucks all run the same speed at this racetrack. What you're going to see is a lot of drivers getting right up to that left rear quarter panel, taking
You throw 7th to 10th under a blanket. My God.
With Austin Green on William Sawalich was exactly how Joe Dan Bailey said that was going to play out. Now we see a battle between Patrick Staropoli and Laney Bice. This is the battle for 7th and 8th.
Pretty much got 2 cars, make that 4 cars, 2 rows deep.
Bice holds on. Staropoli looked a little loose. Timmy Hill looks like he might get a run to the outside of the 25. They go around the lap car of Takuma Koga, and then they're all single file again. But man,
Isaac Kitzmiller that takes you through the top 10.
White knuckle moment right there for Timmy Hill. He did not want to stack it up 3 wide, going down into the two-lane wide turn 1, but wisely kind of gave Patrick a little racing room right there. And you know, we have seen these drivers, particularly up at the front of the field, kind of weaving their way through some of the traffic. But now that we've got some laps under our belts here, I think we have settled into a rhythm. And the lap cars are doing, I think, exactly what everybody at the front of the field would like for them to do. Pick a lane.
Here's Brent Cruz. He laps Timmy Hill.
Predictable. If we catch you in turn 1 and you're on the bottom, well, the next time we catch you in turn 3, we also want you to be on the bottom. We want you to be predictable. These lap cars trying their best to give these leaders some racing room.
The bad news is Brent Cruz has already lapped up into the top 10. He just put Timmy Hill lap down as we check in on Spencer Gallagher in the Sigma Performance number 24 and his return to ARCA Series competition. But Cruz now about 20 laps away from what we expect to be our scheduled race break.
Oh wait, there is a halfway break. Okay.
His way up into the top 5. As you see Austin Green now looking to the inside of Gallagher, who also had some misfortune in practice yesterday. That team was able to
he crashed in practice along with Andy Kovac. Caution for Timmy Hill on the damn window net is down. Damn.
On screen, and it looks like he has made some significant contact with the outside wall. And Timmy climbing out of that automobile. Good to see him climbing out, but that looks to be a heavy.
He would have been the free pass according to timing and scoring.
A little bit just on the steepness of the banking right there, but he is going to lean. Oh, look at him catching his breath right
I think. Oh, must have been a hard hit.
Impact for Timmy Hill, and the 56 puts us under the caution for the 2nd time here today. Let's see if we can take a look at what happened to the 56 car down into turn 1.
Timmy had just gone a lap down, and wow.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that was a right front tire going down, which we did see that in the morning practice session with London McKenzie's car, but that car shot straight up to the outside wall after he had already committed to try to enter turn 1 on the bottom.
And he put the window net down really quickly, but boy, he definitely needs to catch his breath after that one. While we are under caution for the 2nd time, we'll step away for a quick break. When we come back, we'll reset the field, get set to race to midway point here at Rockingham. Stay with us.
My skin, she gets thirsty. And Venus gets it. So when I shave, it's the new Venus Moisture Glide. It's got 5 blades and bars with a touch of argan oil that lock in moisture. Feel the power of smooth. My skin, my way. Venus.
Hold on a minute. Yes, Mom? Huh?
Bryce Harper and the Phillies. Battle Kyle Tucker and the Cubs. Or the Rangers take on the Giants. Next Saturday at 4 Eastern on Fox.
When surprise breakdowns happen, American Home Shield will be there to fix or replace parts of the systems and appliances you rely on every day. They help protect your time and money by connecting you with qualified pros and helping pay for covered repairs or replacements. AHS offers flexible and affordable plans for every home. Sign up today and get $100 off with code AHS100. Visit AHS.com.
All right. Catherine Legg will be in the 53 car for the Xfinity race after she failed to qualify in the 32 due to owner points.
Online can attract various digital threats. To improve your protection against them, just turn on NordVPN. This cybersecurity app will block web trackers and malware-infected sites. It will also encrypt your internet traffic without losing a smooth connection. Get the deal now. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Equinox, starting under $30,000. And the all-electric Equinox EV, America's most affordable EV with a 315-plus mile range. Quality you expect at a dealer right down the street. With Chevy,
right now we're just waiting for the commercials to end.
Qualified Chevy lessees can get this Equinox LT for around $259 a month. Or get 2.9% APR on all 2025 Equinox models when you purchase.
My old Femcare wash didn't keep me fresh, but Secret Deodorizing Body Wash gives me 24-hour whole body freshness by actually washing away the 6 causes of body odor. Plus, it's pH balanced, so I can wash with it everywhere. Secret Deodorizing Wash.
Working the second caution flag of the day after Timmy Hill getting into the
All right,
wall down
47 laps in the books.
There is the safety crew trying to retrieve the 56 car off the top of the banking here at Rockingham Speedway. Let's take another look at this, Eric, and see if we can find out exactly what happened. And I'm with you. I think we might have had a right front tire go down and up into the wall. Not much he was going to be able to do there. Just a passenger at that point.
Yeah, tire went down
Consider the
and he
timing
went
of when
up.
that tire went
Bam.
down. It was only about a lap and a half ago that our race leader, Brent Cruz, went around Timmy Hill to put him 1 lap off the leaders. But the good news is, even with that very hard and flush shot on the right side, and we saw Timmy kind of walking gingerly up the very steeply banked turns 1 and 2. He did climb out of that car under his own power, but Charlie, being that that is one of the family-owned entities and operations, I'm sure that the impact hurt a lot, but the effects of that race car is going to sting a bit for that team as well.
Next ARCA East race is Nashville in May.
Get that car removed. But, you know, he is here racing for the ARCA East Championship because, you know, he said, you know, we've been running trucks for so long and it's gotten to the point where it's just not as fun as it once was. We want to come race at the front of the field, compete for a championship.
Yeah, only problem, Joe Gibbs Racing and Pinnacle Racing Group. One just on the sheer strength of their cars, the other one typically by strength of driver.
Here at Rockingham, and just did not end the way he was looking for it to end here. But
And again, or maybe I'm just underestimating how strong the Pinnacle cars are, considering Connor Mosack was able to win in one.
Under caution for the second time today. You know, that's not the only time we have seen that type of incident today. We had another big crash right there at the end of.
Are they adjusting the safer barrier too? They've had to do this every damn time there's been a wreck.
And this guy, Spencer Gallagher, had a similar incident coming off.
Where is Gallagher running right now?
Spencer actually in the backup number 24 car.
11th. Okay.
The ARCA Menard Series platform. And I know that wasn't the way he wanted his weekend to go. That 24, the primary car, rocket ship fast here yesterday.
And, I mean, we haven't seen Spencer since he made the decision in 2018 when GMS was still in full-blown operation at that time that he was going to take a step back, take a more managerial role. First national start for Spencer since 2018. He's been racing a little bit back home, but happy to see Spencer back at the racetrack, and sounds like we'll have more starts with him. Still under caution here for the ARCA East Series at Rockingham. We will be back right after this.
There's an easier way to bank and get up to $500 in 5 minutes or less when you download Dave.
My skin, she gets thirsty. And Venus gets it. So when I shave, it's the new Venus Moisture Glide. It's got 5 blades and bars with a touch of argan oil that lock in moisture. Feel the power of smooth. My skin, my way. Venus. My old Femcare wash didn't keep me fresh, but Secret Deodorizing Body Wash gives me 24-hour whole body freshness by actually washing away the 6 causes of body odor. Plus, it's pH balanced, so I can wash with it everywhere. Secret Deodorizing Wash.
Mama, look. It's just like our new house.
Warranty! I hope you have an American Home Shield warranty. Leaky toilet? Fixed. Clogged AC coils? Fixed. Oven beyond repair? Ta-da! If AHS can't fix your comfort item, then replace it, no matter its age.
A warranty is smart.
Oh, happy family.
Is that us?
Too much? American Home Shield. Sign up today
Excellent
at
brand.
ahs.com.
Introducing the all-new Chevy Equinox, starting under $30,000.
Okay, I'm just gonna
and
mute
the
it for on
all-electric Equinox EV.
until we get back to green. All right.
Still finishing up cleanup operations over there in turn 2, where Timmy Hill's number 56 came to a stop after making some contact with the outside wall there in turns 1 and 2. A lot of speedy dry on the racetrack. They don't call this the Sand Hills for nothing, apparently.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had to put that to work after Hill found the outside retaining wall. And we mentioned how hard that hit was. It obviously disrupted a lot underneath the hood of that race car and left a trail pretty much coming down the 22-degree banking in turns 1 and 2. But the track crew's been doing a great job to get things situated, as we have now 51 laps in the books. Again, we're expecting our race break on or around lap 63, around the halfway point of this 125-lap race. But the dominant car by far up to this point has been Brent Cruz. But this caution will allow the rest of the field to get a chance to get maybe a short dash up against that 81 car before the one and only chance to make some adjustments if needed.
Talking about getting some adjustments, there was LeVar Scott coming off of pit road. Some adjustments made to that car, and of course LeVar, unfortunately, wrong place, wrong time there on lap, what was that, lap 2, when Jake Finch got sideways in front of him. And right now, everybody trying to keep this guy in sight. Brent Cruz in that number 81 car has been just absolutely dominant. Had opened up a 6+ second advantage prior to that caution flag. As you know, it has been something that I didn't ever think was going to happen to this point. You know, NASCAR officially back at Rockingham Speedway, and look at this crowd, Eric. You know, I was here yesterday for the Truck Series race, and I want to say it was maybe 85 or 90% full on a good Friday afternoon. A full house expected for the Xfinity race coming up later on this afternoon, and it's probably 80% full for ARCA East racing. What a crowd here today.
And I mean, just watching the fans continue to walk up the hill that leads over towards turn number 4, which is one of the main entry points to the facility. Everyone has a smile on their face. As we touched on at the top of the show, the weather could not be more perfect. It is so enlightening to see this place come alive with not only race cars, but with a heavy fan presence to support it. And Charlie, the good news for me is that once we're done up here, I get to go hang out for a little bit and watch that Xfinity race. You still got some work to do on the mic.
I have the pleasure of being the PA announcer for the Xfinity race later on this afternoon. And, you know, as a young kid, I could remember watching my uncle's race team running the cup races here with, you know, Darrell Waltrip and Bobby Allison. And, you know, it was from my home in Toledo, Ohio, this might as well have been 1,000 miles away. I never thought in a million years I would ever have a chance to go to Rockingham Speedway, much less broadcast a race, or just as well be the PA announcer. But what a thrill to be here. What a great crowd. What a great field of race cars we have had in all 3 divisions. Tyler Ankrum picking up the win yesterday in the truck race. And we're going to find out if anybody can keep Brent Cruz out of victory lane. As look at that. That guy has got, you know, I'm feeling a little hungry all of a sudden.
Yeah, now the key thing is to not have any trouble getting back to your seat. Otherwise, that's going to be on the not top 10 list for the end.
We don't want that. 1 to go. Signal
all
given
right,
at the stripe. We're going to go racing.
That
and
time.
This is going to be interesting because we just came off a long green flag run. We're going to have kind of a 10 or 12 lap sprint here to the midway point, the break here at or around lap 63. So now that Austin Green has kind of worked his way through traffic, can he keep Brent Cruz in sight?
And it's the first time Cruz is not going to be starting alongside of his teammate William Sawalich. So Austin Green may be fully intent on getting right on the right side door of that 81 car going to turn 1 if he wants to take control of this race before the upcoming race break.
First time we've seen Tyler Reif up
All
in
right.
the outside groove as well. He
So
has
probably about 10,
third
less than
on
10
both
laps
the previous
for this
restart attempts.
part.
We'll see if that 23 car maybe comes to life now that is not down on the inside lane. Coming back to green as we complete lap 54. So 9 laps to the midway point and the scheduled break at lap 63. Coming to the restart line.
There we
Again,
go. Good start for the inside lane. Work green. Again at Rockingham. A big push from Williams to Wallace to Brent Cruz.
Jump. Can Green keep him in sight?
Boy, those JGR cars on the bottom, they were coordinated to be in lockstep formation in the restart
So
line.
Wallace gets back to second place. There's
There's
Eloy Sebastian trying to get by Tyler Reif.
Austin Green back to third. Battle for fourth starting to incentivize. We got a caution. Debris on the front straightaway.
Come on.
Will slow this field fresh off the one attempt to get us back going.
Well, we'll line them up and try it again. So we still have some debris, maybe some remnants of that incident down in turns 1 and 2 on the racetrack. So this will put us under caution for the 3rd time today, and you could not have described it any better. Those two cars, the 81 and the 18, absolute lockstep on that restart.
Looks like a restart like what we may see at Talladega next week for the National Series, where they were just ready to go, coordinate with one another, make a little bit of a nudge and a push from Sawalich to Cruz to clear him well out in front of the 28 to turn 1. And once the door was open, Sawalich just walked right on through it. So those two Joe Gibbs Racing entries are going to find themselves in control of this race, as that is certainly a worthy enough piece of debris on the front straightaway.
We do not need anybody running that bumper bar over at speed, but this is a very good break for Spencer Gallagher in the 24 car. That quick caution gets him the free pass to rejoin the tail end of the lead lap. So that will put Spencer, who is in 10th position, back on the lead lap and give us 10 cars on the lead lap. And there is Spencer as he tries to tag onto the tail end of the field. We will line him up in maybe not a 10-lap dash to the finish, but maybe a 7 or 8 lap dash to the midway point and the 5-minute break coming up at lap 63.
And many of the drivers and teams are going to have a chance to maybe use this as a dress rehearsal should this race come down to a late race sprint or even a green-white checker to settle this one. This is going to be a pretty good reminiscent or sim of that type of circumstance, and we'll see how aggressive some of the drivers at the front are going to be willing to be. As you said, Charlie, with Gallagher getting that free pass, it'll be 10 cars on the lead lap. The driver hoping for that quick race break, maybe Cole Raz. He's the next car in line currently to receive the free pass.
Cole Raz, we get a free pass.
So he's going to be trying to hold on to that spot, but it'll be another chance to see what Cruz has up his sleeve. And Charlie, you alluded to some of the differences in the rules with the choose option not being available for these teams. The only option is for the leader to pick inside or outside. Restarts are another thing we talk about with these ARCA Menard Series races as well.
There is a restart zone here because the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series are racing. We're driving into that restart zone right now. Those two lines on the racetrack, that goes out the window for ARCA Menard Series East Racing here at Rockingham. The only line we need to pay attention to, as a matter of fact, I have it wrong. It is the first line, the top line on the racetrack is actually the restart line. Once we get to that line, the leader has to be the first car to that line. We saw that a couple of times last year, and it doesn't matter if it's an inch, a foot, or 10 feet. If the driver scored in second, beats the leader to that line, they're going to get a pass-through penalty. So that could come into play later on today, but definitely one of the major differences between the ARCA platform and the National Series.
And you touched on one of the reasons why. It's a uniform rule that's set across the board because a lot of the tracks of which this series in particular visits, they don't have a zone to go off of with some of the companion events that happen at those racetracks. So it's one of the elements to keep some continuity across the rules in the series all year long, and it's something that many drivers, including the likes of, say, William Sawalich, who what he's been racing all year long on the Xfinity side, it's a different set of rules, and the hope is that the team and the spotter are constantly reminding some of these drivers of the nuances that it is to race on the ARCA side of the national motorsports landscape, and that's one of the things we'll keep an eye on.
And it's tough because those spotters also get used to working those National Series races, and that's why it's important to come to the driver's meeting every morning, right? We're going to get the one to go this time around, doubling them up for another attempt to get us to lap 63 and our 5-minute break coming up. So we should have maybe 4 laps to go to that lap 63 mark. And again, no surprise, Cruz electing the bottom lane. We did see Sawalich retake second, so he will move to the front row for this restart. Austin Green back in the second row. And how about this name for the first time today? Eloy Falcon in the number 10. I was just about to mention him on that last restart. He had made a tremendous move down the backstretch. Young Eloy Falcon in the 10 car looking pretty stout here as we close in on the midway point. All right, we're going to come back to green. 4 laps to go to the midway point. Eric, we talked about that long green flag run. That's all out the window. It is a 4-lap helmet dash to the midway point here. And can William Sawalich keep Brent Cruz in sight? Coming back to that restart line. Green flag in the air.
Here we go. Green, green, green again.
Even down into turn 1.
More, more even restart. But Brent Cruz still probably will sail back on the inside.
That 81 car, that grip on the bottom side, just too good. Cruz going to put the nose out front down the backstretch.
Still side by side. Brent Cruz will send it in again, and he'll take back the lead. Or he'll hold on to the lead, excuse me.
Cruz holds on to the lead. So Wallace second, Green third. And it is Eloy Falcon up into 4th spot. Tyler Reif gets tagged. Up the track he goes and into the wall.
Oh, man, the 23 scrapes the wall.
Together. Bice gonna keep
Okay,
digging, but Tyler Reif
so
bouncing
contact
off
with the
the
number
outside
2 of
wall,
Laney
and
Bice.
there is damage to the right side of that car. Caution
One of
flag
the
gonna
best
come
young
out.
talents.
I did not have that on my bingo card.
And unfortunately,
on that restart.
problems
Wow.
for number 23. I reacted so
Falcon
badly
made
to
a
that.
great move to cement
But
the 4th
so
spot after
speaking again,
restarting
contact with
outside
Laney
of row
Bice,
number 2
sent
on
the
restart.
23 into the
Behind them,
wall,
Tyler Reif was
and
trying
that
to settle back in
will
line,
cause him to
lost
lose a
couple
lot of
positions,
spots.
and then
Look,
got
I don't know if there's
a
any
little bit
other
of a rush
damage
on
to the
left rear
car.
quarter panel going off into the
There is
high-speed
smoke,
entrance
so
to
maybe there's a
turn
tire
1.
rub.
And he tried and
The car
tried and tried to keep it
generally
off the
looks
wall,
fine.
but ran out of real estate.
Let's take another look at what happened. Keep an eye on the 23 car to the top side of the racetrack. And Laney just
swerved up.
drifted up the racetrack a little bit. And that lane already occupied by Tyler
Andy
Wright.
Jankowiak moves
We
into
talked
5th
about
spot as well.
Tyler having that terrific run at Phoenix. He was maybe 2 laps away from another victory. This is just the type of luck that Sigma Performance Racing team has had so far here in 2025.
And as we get a look at Laney Bice's car, we'll try to check the right front fender as they come around. But, you know, Charlie, that's kind of been the luck that Tyler has just had this year as well. And that's some pretty significant damage to the front end of that 2 car of Laney Bice and her ARCA Menard Series
Coming to
East
halfway.
debut. And that's indicative of the contact that kicked off that crash. But Tyler's most recent contest was a Car Store Pro Lane model event down in Georgia. Ironically, Laney Bice, his home state. And he was running so well there when the transmission came undone on that race car and put him out of the race. He just cannot seem to get out from under this black cloud. And this Sigma Performance team has really been put through the ringer over the last couple days. But that car's still rolling. If they can get it repaired, he may have a chance in the second half, as this caution will also serve as our halfway yellow and our race
All right,
break.
so they get 5 minutes to fix their car.
So that will give both of these drivers involved in this incident, Tyler Reif and Laney Bice, an opportunity to get these cars repaired. Let's take one more look at it right there. And yeah, Laney definitely just drifted up the racetrack a little bit and got into the left rear quarter panel. I think Laney may have been trying to avoid Andy Jankowiak, who having a very strong run, but I think Andy has been rolling out of the corners a little bit to get a little more momentum off the corners, and Laney didn't expect that, and she tried to make the move around, and unfortunately that lane already occupied by Tyler Reif, and boy, that could have been way worse. If that's all the damage that the 23 comes out, he really could have been in a real tough spot right there. But Tyler Reif, I think they're going to be able to keep that car in competition, and depending on how much they're able to repair it, should be a contender for a top 10 yet here this afternoon.
You said that wreck could have been way worse. I mean, Patrick Staropoli, Cole Raz, Isaac Kitzmiller, all in that knot right off that yellow as soon as the 23 car got tagged up towards the top of the racetrack. So we are under our 4th caution of the race, also going to serve as our halfway break. We'll be back for the second half of the ARCA Rockingham 125.
My old Femcare wash didn't keep me fresh, but Secret Deodorizing Body Wash gives me 24-hour whole body freshness by actually washing away the 6 causes of body odor. Plus, it's pH balanced, so I can wash with it everywhere. Secret Deodorizing Wash.
Shopping, working, and relaxing online can attract various digital threats.
we just gotta wait again. Come on. Wait, hold on a minute. Okay, fix that. So anyway, now we wait 5 minutes. Spencer Gallagher is now back on the lead lap. Bum 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 Still waiting. Wait. Well, hold on. Yep, still waiting. All right, we're back, and now we're doing the 5-minute break.
Yeah, I mean, maybe just take the chance to take a deep breath and, focus forward, because that car has been pretty much on a rail. And, Charlie, I'm curious, as ironically his teammate in the car that's been his closest pursuer on average since this race got underway, William Sawalich, there seems to have been a lot of coordination between those two since this race has started. I'm curious how long that may roll. I mean, Cruz has gotten a little bit of help when Sawalich restarted behind him. There may have been some additional space when he started next to him. I wonder if that trend's going to continue all the way down to the latter stages of this race, or if that pressure is going to start to be amped up a little bit by the Xfinity Series rookie. And what is a return to a place that Sawalich calls home, two-time champion of the series, looking for a win here on a monumental weekend at the Rock. He's got one car to beat right now, and it's his teammate.
I think we get a restart at, say, lap 119. There won't be.
Just heard that Lando Norris wrecked in practice.
As there was
at qualifying.
At 19 earlier today. But in any case, everybody trying to keep.
I should turn that on.
Sight. And there you see the repair efforts on the front nose of Lady Bice in the number 2. She, of course, involved in that incident there with Tyler Reif, and they're going to put the right front tire back on that. And unfortunately for her, and I don't think they're going to get that patched up back 100%, and unfortunately for her, probably not going to help her advance towards a top 5 finish. You need that right front fender to be fully intact at a place like Rockingham.
This track may measure just under 1 mile, but it is by no means a short track by any stretch of the imagination. Saw some people debating that across the social media platforms. This is not a short track, and aero matters a lot. Our very own Jacqueline Drake is down there kind of saying that they are doing a lot of work on that car as well.
Yeah, exactly. That was the team doctor that you saw there, just having a chat with Will Joseph, which I think is just a precautionary, is he okay? Do I need to go and see him as well? Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton were all on a lap and have had to come back in. Their laps didn't count. Oscar Piastri did get to the line before the red flag. So what couldn't have gone worse for one side of the McLaren garage probably couldn't have gone better in terms of timing for Oscar Piastri in getting that first lap in.
Yeah, I don't think a 27.560 is fast enough for pole, so he's got to do something a little bit better than that, I think. Although, of course, as you say, the other runners lost their run, really. Yeah. Wasted that set of fresh boots.
Well, it's interesting, while you were talking us through Oscar's lap, George Russell was radioing saying, check the floor, I've hit the curb hard. he was actually level pegging with Oscar Piastri through the first 2 sectors, which could indicate that Piastri might have a bit more to give, or that Russell, lost a bit of time hitting the curb. Orlando fans trying to put on a brave face. The other question, Martin, is what does this now do to Lando Norris's state of mind, coming from Bahrain, where he's still leading the championship and increased his championship lead, but wasn't happy with the weekend. So when it gets to the crunch time next time out, he's gone and put the car in the wall.
Yeah, but they're experienced enough. He's been doing this since he was a toddler, hasn't he? Basically, so he's experienced enough to just get back on the horse. But it's harmed his chances of a handful of a big haul of points tomorrow. But who knows with safety cars or whatever goes on? It ain't going to rain here, that's for sure. but you don't know what might happen tomorrow. But that's I think Lando's beeped message somewhat summed it up.
Yeah, Cross frustrated, disappointed with himself after this accident. We can see it again.
Curb.
Maybe he needs to take some inspiration from Max Verstappen.
Doing fine,
15th
and then
here it's 2022 came home to finish in 2nd place, of course. So podium might not
get
be
the
out
curb,
of the equation.
slant on the inside.
So that started when he throttled on. He gave it an absolute boot full of throttle. Back end stepped out. That took him on the curb. And as he's got the corrective lock in, when it's landed, it just bites. It just bites and takes him off. Where the
slow motion of
basically.
Of his engineer is funny.
And look at that. He goes over the line. And did he get over the line?
Did he get over the line? That might indicate there that he did not. Because he definitely...
The time's still up there.
Where is the...
I think we're coming back at Rockingham.
Patterson, LeVar, Scott, both 1 lap down. Scott, who was involved in the opening wreck that happened with Jake Finch to kick off this race, sustained some damage there. Still on a bit of a comeback trail. The same could be said for his teammate Laney Bice, who rejoins the field. And there's a look at Patrick Staropoli. And Patrick is someone who I had a chance to talk to during the week. And, I mentioned it earlier in the first half of this race, but Patrick is someone who, as we're a lap away for the restart, his racing career appeared to be on a tremendous trajectory to top-tier success, but he had a decision to make between his profession and his driving duties. He was given the advice, racing will be here for you. He's gone on to be an incredible doctor in the ophthalmology field, now back with some partners to be able to run some of these ARCA races, and he's done a tremendous job. Even got a top 20 in his Xfinity Series debut at Martinsville about a month ago. Now trying to get a good result here at the Rock.
Of course, Patrick, a former West Series winner out at the now-closed Irwindale Speedway back in 2014. So just a little bit of a pause in his racing career, and I think we will see him up near the front.
Pause.
There is Tyler Reif. We got a quick look at him, and that car looked to be pretty well back to 100% after that scuff with the wall. So we'll see if he's able to race his way back through the field and get up to the front as we are coming back to green. 64 laps in the back of the field. 61, if my basic math skills are correct, yet to go. So we will come to green with 60 laps to go as we get the green flag, and lots of racing yet to come, and everybody going to try to keep Brent Cruz in their sights as we get back.
All right, green again here at Rockingham. Better start for William Sawalich.
That 18 car to the front of the field down into turn 1.
Gives a little bit of room there as they approach turn 1. This is what we've seen the last few restarts. These two started alongside, but Sawalich with a great drive off turn 2. It's got the edge by a half a car length as they go to 3.
Sawalich had the advantage on the backstretch. Cruz has the better line.
But look at Sawalich running the outside lane. He is going to lead across the stripe.
He does. First lap, Brent Cruz hasn't led, but Cruz not going away. Cruz will get by in turn 2.
Car down into turn number 1 to take the lead back as he gets around Sawalich.
Tyler, some smoke, I think, coming from the 23 of Tyler Reif.
To be from the right rear. Evidently, not all of the damage has been able to be repaired on that last stop. We'll see if that car can make it as he continues to smoke down the front stretch.
And Reif going to bring that car down inside the white line.
Maybe terminal damage there.
You do not want to run around Rockingham Speedway at speeds approaching 160 miles an hour with a tire rub. He wisely will bring that car to Tom Ackerman and the team down on the backstretch setting sail, and William Sawalich doing a nice job, at least keeping him in sight. 0.4 of a second, the difference here as we see this battle for position.
Staropoli up to 6th, up to 5th.
Patrick Staropoli, Eddie Jankowiak, Isaac Kitzmiller in the 79. The 3 cars that are pretty much knotted together for the final.
See how loose the 73 is.
Things stand. Meanwhile, we've got a new runner up in the 3rd, just getting around a car.
Eloy Sebastian up to 3rd. We haven't seen it at all today.
Eloy Falcon up to a podium spot as Jankowiak continues to wrestle the car in turns 1 and 2.
And it took a while for that 73 car to come to where Andy J liked it that first
sworn
half of the
it's
race.
Eloy Sebastian.
It could just be that the air pressures haven't come up to where
Eloy Sebastian Lopez Falcon.
but that 73 car
Fine, Eloy Falcon it is.
Right now as we check in on this battle, 3rd and 4th on the racetrack, and how about young Eloy Falcon? This youngster has been around this Rev Racing team for the last couple of years, coming to the racetrack, helping any way that he can. He's always had a smile on his face, always done anything they've asked him to do. Right now, they're asking him to take this car to the front, and Eloy Falcon doing just that, 3rd position on this restart.
Down the front stretch, we got Patterson, who may be blowing up on the approach.
Oh, come on.
Race stays green as we watch this battle down the back straightaway. Checked in with Jacqueline Drake, who got to catch up with Stephen Dawson, the crew chief for Austin Green.
Look how loose the 10 is.
The car's perfect. Leave it the way it is. As you see,
there's Patterson going to the pit road, but come on, Austin Green makes the pass for 3rd.
Back to the pits. Race stays under green flag conditions.
And that car jumped out from underneath Eloy Falcon right there. A little wiggly.
I can't, they literally turned away as the pass was being made to look at this.
3rd position, and it looks like it's going to be a short day for Andrew Patterson. His 2nd consecutive tough race. He was involved in an incident in practice, wasn't even able to take the green at Five Flag Speedway back in
Spencer
March.
Gallagher and Cole Raz battling for 8th place.
His, first actual race to end here in 2025. There's a battle for 8th, and a couple of cars that looking pretty sporty after getting the free pass to rejoin the tail end of the lead lap.
Spencer Gallagher in the 24, Cole Raz in the 76, both racing each other quite hard for a spot up here in the top 10. Raz with a good drive off 4, Gallagher alongside, and this battle will continue to turn 1 where things could tighten up. And look at Gallagher giving Raz a good bit of room going in the corner, a lot of respect being shown between these two as this fight will continue on.
A couple of drivers at the opposite ends of the experience spectrum right here. Cole Raz, a youngster making his way through the super late model ranks on the West Coast, making the transition into full-bodied stock car racing here in the ARCA Menard Series platform. Spencer Gallagher, despite having taken several years off, has hundreds of starts across not only the ARCA Menard Series platform, but the NASCAR Craftsman Trucks and the NASCAR Xfinity Series as well. So Gallagher wisely giving Cole Raz some extra racing room down there in turn 1. Don't need to be fighting for the bottom of the racetrack, still with over 50 laps yet to go here in the Rockingham ARCA 125. And this guy, Eric, continuing to stretch out that advantage now, 2.7 seconds the lead over William Sawalich in 2nd.
Got a brief challenge from the teammate off the restart, and now is set sail. Working his way up to the back, and whoop, got checked up there a little bit behind Zachary Tinkle. Tinkle now will yield the top lane to Cruz as they enter turn number 3. This may impact that margin that you just mentioned.
There's Andrew Patterson.
We see Andrew Patterson
looking to his field.
Abysmal start to his 2025 East Series campaign with a small operation. Also running a part-time schedule in 2025, and he was one of the many teams who made it a point to circle the Rock as one of the stops he wanted to make. The power plant, though, just could not make it the distance.
A very high RPM here, and a sustained high RPM here at Rockingham, and some of these engines just not able to hold on to that sustained RPM limit as we see this battle. Lainey Bice working her way back through the field. She's just worked her way past Spencer Gallagher to retake the 9th position. So despite that damage to the nose of the number 2 car, Lainey Bice still looking pretty sporty. Our Bonnie Ricky Spotlight driver working her way back through the top 10.
As As they push Patterson's car off, a great rebound for Weiss. And even though you mentioned, Charlie, they may not get that car back to driving the way that it was, but the lapse time, the track time, the track experience so important for Laney, as her teammate LeVar Scott, who continues to run about a lap off the leaders, is now under fire from Cole Raz, who holds the 8th position. Cole trying to get up to and maybe past Isaac Kitzmiller, is a little bit further up the road in what would be the battle for 7th.
And LeVar has similar damage to the nose of the number 6 car. He was involved in the incident on lap 2 that put Jake Finch out of the race very early on, as we see the number 81, Brent Cruz, continuing to, you know, I always like to make the comparison. If this was Burger King, he would love it. He is having it his way at the front of the field here today, and he has driven off now 3.2 seconds the advantage over William Sawalich in second, Austin Green, Eloy Falcon, and now Patrick Staropoli rounding out our top 5, as we are now within the final 50 laps of the Rockingham ARCA 125. 82 laps now in the books, 43 yet to go.
Here's Jan Kowiak in the 73, trying to fend off Isaac Kitzmiller in the 79. Battle going on for 6th. I was talking to Andy Jankowiak during the week, and he mentioned some of the partnerships he was able to bring on. Florida Safety System's been a long-time supporter for him. The plan was to hopefully have Jody, who's with that organization here at the Speedway, but he's back home recovering, watching along with all of you from home. So he wishes them all the best. He's doing a great job
or
up
leaving
at the top
pit
10
road.
as things stand.
Or
We
is
see
he?
Tyler Wright returning to the pit area.
Returning,
Just not able to beat out the bodywork enough after that contact in the turn 1 wall. And the bad luck for Tyler Reif continues. And Charlie, there's not a lot of urgency to get out to that race car right now.
And you know, the damage to that car is in one of the most critical areas. That right rear fender needs to be solid. It needs to be in place. You don't have that you don't have any side force in this car, and you are so dependent on side force, and that's where this car
coming out of 40 laps to go.
Through the center of the quarter and off of the corner, when you want to get on the throttle, you need every bit of those aerodynamics to help keep you planted on the racetrack. And that 23 car just doesn't have that right now.
Yeah, this 81, especially on a restart or a lap off a restart, just appears to have the perfect amount of yaw going off into the corner to not lose control as this battle for 4th begins to start to ratchet up. And you know, we've talked a little bit about Eloy Falcon and his successes. A lot of them have come from south of the border. 2021 NASCAR Mexico Truck Series champion, 2024 NASCAR Mexico Challenge champion. He's also got a win in the NASCAR Mexico Series.
Is like the Xfinity Series.
He's racing a late model stock car a few times for this Rev Racing team in 2025. And Charlie, this is a hard racetrack to figure out on your first try, and Eloy is doing a tremendous job carrying the banner for Rev Racing right now in 4th.
There are a lot of drivers who have been here multiple times that haven't been able to figure it out, as well as Eloy Falcon has his first attempt. As we check in at the front of the field, there is Brent Cruz. 4.2 seconds the advantage, so hasn't cost him too much, that little checkup that he had to make there a few moments ago. He has kicked it back into cruise control and has driven away from this guy, William Sawalich, currently in second. 2-time ARCA Menard Series East champion. He's going to run the Xfinity Series race later today, and you have to think what he's learning today going to help him once we go Xfinity racing later on.
Going to roll off 5th that Xfinity race. We check in on Austin Green, who currently runs in the 3rd position. He told his crew chief he felt like the car was perfect. He just need a little bit more to be able to try to reel in the 2 ahead of him. But a great Pinnacle Racing Group debut for Austin Green, who's also slated to come down for the Xfinity race later on. We check in with 4th place runner in Eloy Falcon.
Eloy Falcon having a terrific ARCA Menards East debut. As you talked about all the success he has had down below the border in his native Mexico, he is looking to finish in the top 5 here in his ARCA Menards East debut. And what an impressive performance in the 3rd Rev Racing entry. And there's Patrick Staropoli up in the top 5, sitting in the 5th position in that number 25 car.
His schedule continues to pick up. He's back with his team at Talladega. Going to start at Kansas, still on the docket. Many truck races.
Isaac Kitzmiller just passed Andy Jankowiak for 6th.
Rounding out the top 5 right now. What's been a very big week for Benarini Motorsports. Here's another partner story for Andy Jankowiak. He won a Southern Modified event 1 year ago. The person who sang the national anthem, his name was Skylar Whitfield. Struck up a friendship with him. Skylar was hosting a concert in the area last last night. They put a deal together to slap Skyler's name on the car. He comped everybody to the show who could make it out last night. Skyler now here with the race team on the pit box, helping support Andy Jankowiak to what he hopes to be a top 10 effort as he continues to try to work his way further forward.
Skyler, a guy that does the anthem at a lot of the World Series races that you see live here on Flow as well. Good to see Skyler on board with that number 73 team. There's Cole Raz in the number 76. You know, you talked about all those sixth place finishes that he had. Cole had a terrific run down at Five Flags Speedway to start the season, coming home in the top two. Wasn't unfortunately the winner, but had a great run down there at Five Flags Speedway, and looking to continue his streak of top 10 finishes here today. Of course, this is the AM Racing team. Car owner Kevin Sawinski, longtime car owner and crew chief here, overseeing the effort for Cole Raz in the 76.
Just behind the Rev Racing number 2 of Laney Bice. And you know, Charlie, we were talking.
It was a good run for Bice. Coming up on the 8th place, Raz goes to the inside.
You mentioned the group that Laney has surrounded herself with, from friends and family, a bit of an entourage, which sometimes can be a bit of a distraction for some drivers. But for Lee and Laney, he said it is the most pleasant group to have at the racetrack. They're incredibly supportive, and Laney herself is always focusing forward on the task at hand. And even after
gets side by side on the backstretch.
Turn 1 a few laps ago with Tyler Reif,
oh, got loose.
Continues to battle
Has
to
to
the
bail
inside.
out.
Cole Raz doesn't appear to be weighing on her mind at all. She is still trying to pick up spots here late in the going.
She is one of the best drivers at networking in the garage area that I have ever seen. Young Laney Bice building that network. There is Spencer Gallagher in the 24, the backup car after a hard incident. In the very final moments of practice here yesterday, had a tire go down right here on the racetrack, and he pounded the outside wall. A lot of flame out of that primary number 24 car, but pulling the backup car off the truck, and Spencer having a pretty solid return to racing here.
Less than 30 to go now. We're less than a quarter of the way left. Less than a quarter of the race left.
Joe Ferre, the team owner, he's had a rough start to the season as well. They had a car involved in a heavy incident here yesterday. Tyler Reif getting up into the wall early in this race, and of course we talked about that incident at Phoenix. So close to victory, and they ended up taking home a crashed race car as a result. But boy, Spencer Gallagher, would be nice for him to come out of here with a top 10 in his return to racing. First time in the cockpit since 2018 for Spencer, currently sitting in 10th. And there is Brent Cruz, the advantage now of 5 seconds over William Sawalich in second.
Cruz, we kind of touched on it earlier in our broadcast, but his ARCA Menard Series success came quick, but it came on a certain type of racetrack. He's someone who has a very versatile background, actually started in karting. Ironically, there's a link back to some of the news that broke with the Venerini Motorsports team, who Brent went to victory lane for in his first 2 ARCA starts, but started in karting back in the day. And he transitioned quickly to learning how to race on dirt. In fact, even this year, he kicked off the season with a win at the Tulsa Shootout on dirt. That win on pavement, though, finally getting the monkey off his back, if you will, at Phoenix. That may be what opens up the floodgates for this young man. And he is about 25 laps away from winning at one of the most challenging, just about 1 mile ovals you could find in this country. And he's doing so in dominant fashion. But the battle for 5th is still to be contested, as Austin Green is off the pace on the front straightaway.
Ooh, the 28.
The Pinnacle Racing
3rd place car.
Running in 3rd has just rolled by slowly. This is about to be a battle for 4th as Austin Green is coming to the pit lane.
Boy,
the 3rd place car with a 5th of the race to go is dropping out.
A lap down to our leader, Brent Cruz, blasting past him down the backstretch. So a great run gone awry all of a sudden for Austin Green and the Pinnacle Racing Group.
No input.
And that car sounded
Eloy Falcon at the 3rd. Star Poli 4th, Kitzmiller 5th.
Broadcast location, and one of the crew members jumping into the cockpit. That tells me could be an ignition issue. The ignition box located right there on the passenger side of the dashboard, and they're going to go to the battery compartment. So electrical issues or ignition issues on the 28 car.
With just 25 laps to go, Austin Green from a podium spot to the pit lane here.
Podiums don't matter in NASCAR. Top 5 or top 10. Or win.
Back out, but the laps are continuing to click by under green flag conditions. Cruz the leader, Sawalich second. Now Eloy Falcon up to 3rd. Patrick Staropoli in 4th. Isaac Kitzmiller, your top 5.
And we didn't see Isaac as we walked through the field there because he made a pass for position as we were kind of going through the field there. But Isaac having a great run in that number 79 car, the CR7 Motorsports entry. Cody Rohrbaugh, the team owner there. And, of course, Isaac's dad, Jason Kitzmiller, said, you know, Isaac's kind of coming along at a rapid rate in his development as a driver. We want to see him not only compete for an ARCA Menards East Championship, we want to build a team for him that is going to allow him to compete for an ARCA Menards Series Championship when he is old enough to do so. So Jason Kitzmiller, Frank Kimmel, and that whole team said, you know what, we're going to run for the entire ARCA Menards Series season in 2025. Let's get this team ready so that when Isaac is ready,
One
he's
to
able
go
to
here
jump
at Rockingham.
and go right to the front. He's doing just that here today. Isaac Kitzmiller with an impressive run in the 5th position.
And the work continues on Austin Green's cars. We are inside 20 laps to go. Cruz out to a pretty substantial advantage. That fight is starting to materialize, maybe for 4th involving the aforementioned Kitzmiller and company. But Cruz continues to be the dominating car of this race. Leads 6.5 seconds the last time around. Charlie, I think the only two things of potential concern is we got a caution on the racetrack.
Oh, we got a caution.
Trouble in turn 4. We got a car that has gone around.
It's Blaine Donahue.
Caught Spencer Gallagher on the way by. That is the number 9 of Donahue who has spun.
All right. Something happened. My God. This will put Laney Bice back on the lead lap.
Spencer Gallagher clipping Blaine Donahue. Blaine got sideways over there in
So
turn 3.
8 cars will be on the lead lap.
Harmless spin, and then he started coming down the banking, and Spencer had already committed to going down onto the apron and just didn't have enough room to clear Blaine Donahue. And there's the damage to the number 9 car, but that does put us under caution yet again here at Rockingham.
Was just about to say the one thing that Brent Cruz did not want to see was the yellow.
And there it is.
Here it comes.
You did it. You did it. You jinxed him.
Get a quick look here at the right side of Spencer Gallagher. Believe it or not, for as much damage that's on the nose of the 9 car of Donahue, Gallagher may have been able to get away with one here. There's Donahue already sideways entering our picture in 3 and 4. Look at the pack coming down on him. Right there.
Boy, Spencer, you know Spencer was saying, hold the brakes, hold the brakes, hold the brakes, hold the brakes. And the car just drifted down the racetrack, and Spencer, as you saw, had already committed to it and just made some slight contact with the right side of his car. A lot of damage resulting, though, there on the number 9. And, you know, Blaine Donahue had a really impressive debut performance last year up at Flat Rock Speedway, finished well up into the top 10. His dad, Patrick, oversees the efforts for the Big Machine vodka spiked coolers car that former ARCA champion Nick Sanchez drives in the Xfinity Series. They've had an impressive weekend so far here at Rockingham Speedway. This is kind of a downer moment, but Blaine Donahue still a young driver with a big future ahead of him if he keeps getting these types of opportunities with Andy Hillenberg's team. And there is Spencer Gallagher down on pit road, and they are hard at work trying to repair the right side of that number 24 car.
And Charlie, you were talking about just, again, a bit of bad luck for the Sigma Performance team that has had success, has gone to victory lane before in the ARCA Menards Series on the regional side, but just really a rough weekend so far at Rockingham. Nevertheless, that incident down in turn 4 could have been much, much worse if Spencer Gallagher wasn't on his heels as much as he was in that moment to get drivers left and away from the number 9 of Donahue. And we talk about drivers and teams and certain individuals wearing dual hats. Blaine himself helps out on that 48 team, so he's going to have to shrug off this unfortunate event towards the end of this race and focus forward on maybe helping Nick Sanchez get a win later on this afternoon in that ARCA race to team up with his father, as you mentioned.
And I'll tell you what, that Xfinity race coming up, the front of that field loaded with former ARCA winners, former ARCA champions. It's going to be an exciting return. 7,700 plus days since the Xfinity Series raced here at Rockingham Speedway, and just what a thrill to be here at this racetrack. And you know, we've talked about that crowd, and we have a perfect vantage point of the crowd coming through the gates here in turn 4, coming up the hill and making their way into the grandstand. Just what a terrific crowd here at Rockingham Speedway, and you can't give enough credit to the track operators here, including somebody that we do a lot of business with throughout the course of the year, Bob Sargent and our friends over at Track Enterprises. Congratulations to them on an absolute home run, bringing NASCAR racing back here to Rockingham Speedway, as Blaine Donahue in the number 9 going to try to, We're close to the end, just 15 laps to go. He's going to go out there and bring this number 9 car home, but not the way he wanted to end his day here in the Rockingham 125.
So 15 laps to go. It'll be 14 when we come back around. And I think some of the questions we've been posing throughout the race about the teamwork amongst the JGR team cars, Brent Cruz, William Sawalich, I think it's about to be answered because it hasn't been put to a test of this magnitude just yet. Now, granted, Cruz has been quite committed with selecting the inside for these restarts. I expect him to do the same. But the proximity between his right side of his race car and William Sawalich's left side of his race car, I feel like it started to shrink as these restarts have gone on. And I think that may be what we are about to see one lap from now with the win on the line and now in the sights of these two competitors and more.
Let's go back to the end of the first half of this race. We had a restart with about
one to go.
Laps to go. Caution. We had another restart with about 7 or 8 laps to go. Caution. We don't know that we need to see that type of activity here as we go to the checkered flag, but Eric, you know this, man, particularly your Cars Tour races. You get to the end of these races, the intensity level ratchets up, and I got to tell you, every restart we've had so far today, William Sawalich has been there, but he has been respectful. He has given some room. I think that goes out the window on this restart. Sawalich is going to give it everything he has. He wants to get that 18 car in front, take the line away, take the air away from Brent Cruz. We're going to see some wild racing.
What are the odds that JGR bros just take each other
those
out?
Cars in that second row as well. Eloy Falcon and Patrick Staropoli. They're just waiting for these two to get a little overly racy to see if they can't get up and maybe steal a win away here. So coming to the green to complete lap 112, 13 laps to go here at Rockingham. Pace car down on pit road. Let's see how Sawalich handles this restart.
Here we go. Green, green, green at Rockingham.
Neck and neck down
14 to go.
Sawalich going to try to roll the top side. Give him a little more room
Brent
than
Cruz
I thought
takes
he
the
did,
lead
but
again.
Cruz, that car just so strong on the bottom line. Cruz going to retake the lead down the backstretch.
Past couple of restarts, Sawalich has been able
Jankowiak to fifth.
Right side of Brent Cruz's car off of turn 2. This time, no such luck. Clear to the lead. And not quite gone, but he's got a good bit of breathing room. Brent Cruz back to the point. So
all right, it was 13 to go at the green flag, so now 12 to go.
Staropoli, Jankowiak, your top 5.
Andy Jankowiak with a great restart. He jumps into the top 5. Isaac Kitzmiller back into the 6th position, but there is the guy. He has had this race in his control from the drop of the initial green. Brent Cruz stretched it out. There's the battle, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Patrick Staropoli with a terrific run in the 25 car, holding on to 4th. Andy J coming back from a brush with the wall yesterday that forced his crew to work late into the night. He is holding on to 5th, and look at these
Austin Green.
Austin Green, despite being a couple of laps
He's
down, he wants to show
yeah,
everybody just
so
how
he's
strong that 28 car.
12th. Gallagher's running 10th, a lap down. Well, he reached multiple laps down. 10 to go.
This the battle for 3rd, about 4 cars strong off turn 2. Eloy Falcon in the 10, Patrick Staropoli in the 25, Jankowiak in the 73, all vying for a potential podium finish here with Cruz and Sawalich locking down the top 2 spots right now.
Boy, you talk about a dominant performance since we dropped the green flag. Brent Cruz has stretched out 2.1 seconds on William Sawalich. Sawalich with a comfortable advantage, about a 1.5 seconds in hand over Eloy Falcon, Patrick Staropoli, and Andy Jankowiak. This battle right here, the battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Falcon with just an impressive performance in his debut at perhaps the toughest racetrack this series is going to go to all year long. And Falcon looking like a veteran here late in the going.
Young man's going to have to try to hold off another driver who, even though we haven't seen him all that much, is certainly a veteran in his own right. And Patrick Staropoli started to ramp up
coming
his
out at 7 to go
activity over the last few years, running some late model events down in Florida. He works in Texas, would commute to Florida to drive those race cars, and also got behind the wheel of a tour type modified, now knocking on the door of a podium at Rockingham. But it's all going on well behind Brent Cruz, who continues to walk away from the field.
Why, you gotta wonder, Brent Cruz
literally on Cruz
hasn't done
control, as
anything,
you said,
I don't think,
all
beyond
race
ARCA. I
long,
don't think he's had a truck
coming
start yet.
to complete lap 1.
So Wallace is full-time
Next
in the
time
Xfinity
around,
Series, and
Cruz
he can't
within
win
sight
a
of the
damn
checkered
race.
Flag as we got a battle going
6 to
on
go.
now for 5th. Here comes Isaac Kitzmiller trying to retake that spot from Andy J.
Okay, he hasn't had a truck start yet.
79 car appears to be, and with his eyes and sights set on the E-Series Championship in 2025, he's been off to a great start to the year so far. As Isaac, he'd like to add another top 5 to that stat column as he continues to hound the rear spoiler at Jankowiak to turn 1.
5 to go.
5 to go.
5 more times around for Brent Cruz. 5 more times around for Isaac Kitzmiller to try to find his way past Andy Jankowiak. That 79 car looking extremely strong through the center of the corner. But I'll tell you what, Andy Jankowiak, a lot of experience behind the wheel of that race car. This guy,
Got
one
some
of
starts
the
in the
best short track
part-time
racers in the
ARCA
country.
and
Do it on the
part-time
budget
modified
that he
tour
does
last
it
year.
on.
4 to go.
Even more impressive, Andy J and this Class Motorsports team looking strong here at Rockingham as we check back into the front of the field. Brent Cruz coming to the 3 to go signal.
3 to go.
122 laps now in the books. Just 3 more times around for the young man out of Davidson, North Carolina. You know, Racing Reference had him listed out of Tulsa, Oklahoma for his entire career. He finally reached out to us and said, you know, I'm from Davidson. I was born there and I've lived there my whole life. Can we get that updated? We said, yeah, absolutely.
Well, now I know that.
But right now, Brent Cruz driving away from William Sawalich. A statement race for this young man. 2 laps to go.
3 weeks ago, Brent Cruz turned 17 years old.
He's been searching for the opportunity to be eligible to move up in his racing career. He's got a bunch of Truck Series races on the docket this season for Tricon Garage.
Here he comes. White flag is out. Last lap at Rockingham.
White flag up for Brent Cruz. He has no pressure from behind. Cleanly down into turns 1 and 2 and down the backstretch.
Several seconds ahead of the nearest competitor. Here he comes now, entering turns 3 and 4. It'll be his first win in the ARCA Menard Series East and his first, his second on the ARCA platform for Gibbs. Brent Cruz wins the Rockingham ARCA 125. Sawalich second. Falcon third. Starapoli fourth. Kitzmiller fifth. No, fifth. And Jankowiak. The Chiron's is still broken. Kitzmiller sixth. Raz seventh. Bice eighth. Scott ninth. Gallagher 10th.
Wins at Springfield. Wins at DuQuoin.
It's a second win on a paved oval. Thanks to everyone who came out to watch.
I think the floodgates have officially opened as he's going to get it.
All right, yeah. So thanks to everyone who came out to watch. Hope you all enjoyed that, and hope you also enjoy the Xfinity race at 4 p.m., which I will not be able to stream. So watch that on the CW. See you guys next week for Talladega. BowserJrXD signing off. Have a good one.